Hi peeps,
Hello, I'm Saraya,
I'm Maddie.
and we have Play-Doh.
Today we're playing with Play-Doh.
I feel like we should actually do a proper interaction. Not interaction, we did an interaction. I feel like we should do a proper introduction.
Like what?
Because our last video we didn't like ages. I'm 20.
Oh, you want to do ages?
Yeah. I
Okay.
want them to know like the difference between our generation.
Okay, I'm 30.
Because in case they're like, oh, she sounded so dumb the last video asking all those questions.
Aww.
It's because I'm a baby. And I don't know much.
Look, the questions were shocking. I'll put it that
Were
way.
they though? Because
A little.
honestly, I can talk to people like that all the time.
Okay.
It might just be my generation.
I don't even know whether it's a generational thing, because as well, I was thinking about this, because there's a generational part of it.
Yeah.
There's also, like, we come from very different places. Like, I come from the
Yes.
city, and you come from the country.
Yeah.
Like, I was raised by country people.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm
I
very
was
down
raised
to
by
earth.
island people.
Like,
Very
islanders, or, like, they
No, like
just
I
come
grew up
from
on an
islands.
island.
Oh, that's right.
I told you this! I grew up on an
We grew up
island!
in the same place.
Yeah, literally.
No, that doesn't even come... Okay, generational one.
It might also be like...
Generational.
I hate putting things down to like autism because I hate putting it into a stereotype. But I feel like people on the spectrum say what's on their mind more than... Because
but
we
that's
don't really
fine.
have that filter.
That's fine. We don't want the filter.
No, like, it's
People
okay,
relate
but like...
to no filter.
Yeah.
Because that's probably part of, why we're all getting so anxious and depressed and stressed, because we don't feel like we can actually say
Say what's in our mind.
what
Exactly.
we believe and what we're thinking and ask those questions. Like,
Yeah.
I was so successful in my job because I wasn't afraid to ask anything. Because
Really?
I was more worried about the risk if I didn't ask,
Yeah.
and then what would happen if I stuffed up and cost the company like a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because it was more that high risk industry. So I sort of learned that. It was like no question's a dumb question. It's not.
Do you think that's your
That's how you
generation?
learn.
Because I feel like you're more outgoing.
No, I don't think that's my generation. That's actually quite a unique thing to me. And
It's
like,
just a money thing.
funny enough, it's actually being a female in a male-driven industry. Like, I really had to work around
Yeah.
a lot of that, a lot of the stereotypes, because if it wasn't like just the stereotype that I had to fit into the male world, they treated me like a female, but not even treating me like a female how you would think, like, not like I couldn't do what they could do.
Yeah.
It was more like they were nicer to me. Like,
Aw.
like they were nicer.
Now I'm thinking of like all the
Compared to,
women in
like-
like male-dominated fields now.
Well, I actually had quite the opposite experience. I also had men that were like horrible and were like, oh, she's a female, she doesn't know anything. And that was great, honestly, because it worked to my advantage.
That really built you up.
It worked to my advantage, because I'd be like, well, then I'm just going to go around you and school you entirely. Like, oh yeah, I think I'm
I'm
dumb,
gonna be better
that's
than
fine.
you.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
care if they think I'm dumb. And then, no, for mentors and like my actual direct managers, because they knew me, I knew I was capable.
Yeah.
That's more of what it is you need to be humble and want to learn from these people, because they're people. I don't care if they're male or female. I want to learn from
That is
everyone
so
that has
interesting.
experience.
Because if you put me into that environment, I would have just like stayed quiet all the time. And then I would have learned nothing.
Well, I found kind of, yeah, okay, to sort of jump onto that topic a little bit, I've found recently,
Yeah.
so I've never considered myself with any, like, I knew I was kind of on the spectrum, but I've never considered myself with any, like, autistic tendencies or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I actually have a lot of those things in common, and I get
yeah.
along really well. I know.
I've noticed.
Yeah, okay. I've realized that more recently.
Yeah.
But the only and the biggest difference that I have is I'm very social. I don't have that.
Yes. Whereas most people on the spectrum, yeah, it's like masking all the time and it just fucking sucks.
I do mask.
Do you
all the
feel like you
time.
mask though?
Yeah, I started it when I was like I was very aware at like 2. So I've been doing it for that long. What?
Did it fall over?
I don't know. But
Yeah, keep going.
yeah, I think it's more from like I was sort of A, the oldest child, B, my parents worked all the time, so I was in I was always in daycare, after school care, like I was always in care of others.
Oh, so you were just always around the other people, so you had to be.
Yeah, I was in community. Like I just, and
Yeah.
my parents were very much that old sort of generational like deal with it, because they were still boomers. Like
Yeah.
so, I just dealt with it. And I have my introverted days where I'm like, nah, I don't feel like going out and talking to anyone.
Yeah.
But
Do you get
I get over it.
hyperfixated? You do, don't you?
mhm.
Yeah. What does your hyperfixation feel like? Oh, that's like another way of escapism.
Yes and no. So I actually consider, from like a spiritual perspective, my hyperfixation is the flow state.
Okay.
Right?
Elaborate.
So there's a difference between, for me, distractions and hyperfixations. So I'm aware enough to know when I'm being distracted.
So like when you're getting sucked into like a TV show,
Like anything
you
to do with-
consider that a distraction.
No. Because I don't even watch TV shows now anymore.
Oh my god.
Like I do.
Yeah.
I watch, you know, if I feel like watching it, I will.
Yeah.
But it's Nelly more like, okay, that's what I'm committing to watching.
Yeah.
So then other things outside of the TV show are the distraction. So Instagram or social medias and
So
stuff.
like one at a time.
Yeah, I kind of end up doing that. Like
Yeah.
I end up hyper-focusing on just one thing, and then I kind of get all the information I want from that one thing, and then go to the next thing.
That's
So
very
I kind of do it a
interesting,
lot
actually.
now, and I kind of, yeah, from now that I'm quite in that meditative state a lot, it makes it easier for me to just go, no,
That
I'm
is
on that
so
one thing,
interesting.
this is flow. No, I'm on this one thing, this is flow. I think it's actually, it's funny, now I'm thinking about it and talking
Yeah.
about it. I think we've put a negative connotation on hyperfixation,
Definitely.
and I actually don't think of it as a negative thing.
Yeah.
I think of it as a very positive thing, because when you are hyperfixated on something that is
Ooh.
positive,
Yeah, I think it has
then
to
it's
be
not negative,
positive.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously, like, doom scrolling is never a good idea.
Well, I don't know.
But then
I'm
you get
thinking of,
negative,
like-
and then you get depressed. Like, so
Yeah.
I just do it in a positive manner.
So you've never been like hyperfixated on like a TV show or book or something?
I mean, yeah, I'll still, like, binge a series, because I'm like, oh, it's so good.
But like, do you watch it over and over again?
Not recently.
Yeah.
Not since I've become more
I
in tune
feel
with
that is so
everything.
interesting because I would love to see like autism in spiritual people. Like the difference, yeah. Honestly, I'm saying it right here. Actually, yeah. But like,
I guess
I
for
don't know.
background, for context, I identify as a yogi
yeah,
and as a very spiritual person. And I guess, yeah, that's, I guess, part of this relationship and the mentorship is me to
She's
show
my mentor.
people, and you show people that you can harness what we consider negative things.
oh, I've got a purpose. I love that.
Yeah, and then what we consider negative things, and by utilizing these ancient cultures and this ancient, you know, knowledge, passing it down,
Mm.
that's why things don't bother me. That's why I'm always positive as a person.
That's so good,
Like,
dude.
and also the connotations around the spiritual ego. You don't have to be a monk to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's a myth. That's again another connotation we've put on these things that we expect and we think we have to do that.
Yeah.
And then I'm over here like, nah. I'm just like chilling and vibing, watching Doctor Who every now and then, but also like getting into flow state, doing all these crazy projects,
Yeah.
living my best life. But also working 9 to 5. You can do it, like I was doing it in my office job. I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
You don't need to, you know, that's again another, you know, what connotation, I guess. Yeah, an idea that we put on it. To be spiritual, you have to be like that nomad that's traveling around.
Yeah, not gonna lie, those thoughts still creep into the back of my mind.
Oh, they creep into my mind.
Yeah.
I'm constantly like thinking that. But then I get channeled messages from watching Anchorman 2.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and then I'm like, oh, I just had a sudden epiphany and realization from Will Ferrell on Anchorman 2.
Fucking love Will Ferrell.
I know, I love him. But then there's a part to like their success that's going to be spiritual as well. Like they have to have faith in themselves.
Yeah.
and have the courage. Like, that's all being spiritual is. It's passion driven, faith, like, you know, turning it to the positivity. It's like that mindset building, like, I can do things, I can achieve this, like.
See, my whole thing was I could never comprehend how spiritual people could work like ordinary jobs. Like, I tried, like daycare, I couldn't.
Well, when I first, like, woke up, when I first, like, really realized, oh, I'm actually really spiritual.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even really think about it.
The
I was like, oh,
epiphany.
shit, yeah. Had my awakening. Yeah, I went to my mom and was like, do I become a monk now? Like,
Dude, not gonna lie, I actually thought I'd be a nun. When I became spiritual, I'm like, this is the way to go. But, like, no.
I went the two avenues. I was like, do I just, like, go and live as a monk now? I don't want to shave my head.
Yeah, because you have so much information and you don't know what to do with it as well. That was me.
Yeah, and then also the other side, do I become a Reiki healer? And then you look at it from the practical, you know, ego mind and reality, and you go, well, I'm not going to make any money doing that.
I smell burnt toast.
Yeah, I think it's my neighbour.
I thought I was having like an aneurysm or something. Because you
stroke.
smell it? Yeah, that. I'm like, fuck, it's coming. Okay, keep going.
I don't know, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so.
Have you read the book Hatchet?
No. What's up? Tell me about it.
It's about this dude, and he gets on the plane to go somewhere. I can't remember the plane driver pilot person.
Wait, sorry, I just realized my version of autism is like one tiny cylinder,
like,
and yours
I don't
want to
break it.
Yours is like
it's
a
Adventure Time.
statue.
It's the Bubble Kingdom.
The difference, though, like.
Yeah. Oh, I love yours.
I just keep creating this perfect shape, and you're just like, ha 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 ha.
Literally, I'm making up
anyway,
the entire
sorry.
kingdom. Okay.
It's about
this boy that has a hatchet, obviously, because it's called Hatchet.
Okay.
He gets in this plane. The plane driver pilot. Why do I keep saying driver? The plane pilot. He has a heart attack. No, stroke. Which one's the burnt toast one?
Stroke. Yeah.
Stroke. He has a stroke. It crashes into like the middle of the wilderness. This boy, he's like, I think he was around 13. Don't quote me on that. He had to live in the middle of the wilderness for like. Can't remember how long but like a book long worth with just a hatchet. Really good read. I definitely recommend it. I read it in year 5. It's a children's book, by the way.
It reminds me of is it Lord of the Flies?
Where all the kids get stuck on that island and then go against each other, and that's what happens when you put men in the wilderness. Did you see Yellow Jackets?
No.
That's what happens when you put women in the wilderness.
Okay, this is unpacking a lot. It actually reminds me of a game. So my ex, when we lived in the share house with my best friend from primary school and my brother, they were all gamers, right?
Oh, wow.
So the whole lounge room was like set up for gamers, and they'd all just game on this one game together that's called The Forest.
Yeah.
And it's literally just a survival game where you like run around and you make like a log cabin and harness different things.
Yeah.
But then there's all of a sudden cannibals that live in certain areas.
So like Minecraft?
Minecraft has cannibals?
I think they're called zombies.
I don't know. But it just reminded me where it's like that reading those books is like really escaping from reality because it takes you into that fight
and
or
that's why
flight
it's
parasympathetic system where it's like, oh, I would do all this stuff.
Yeah.
It really like drives that creative problem solving. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been on a plane or a boat? And I don't know if it's just me. I hope other people get it. And you have like this whole scenario in your head where it crashes and you're stuck in this deserted island and then you got to live off the.
Oh,
thank fuck.
I mean, they created a whole show. It's called Lost, and then it was like it turned out it was a dream.
I only made it to episode 1.
I haven't seen it.
I got to the part where he's getting stitched up. I'm like, ugh. I should probably fix it.
I haven't seen it. So no, I like. Yeah, sorry, my point with the video game. So it's like, again, those books really drive that creative problem solving and like stimuli to escape from our reality.
That we don't get.
Same with the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like the different media avenues that people, if they don't read, they game. If they don't game, they'll find it in movies or like Lost, and they binge like, how many seasons of 13?
There was a lot. I got to episode 1, I'm like, oh, I can't do this.
So many.
No.
But yeah. Interesting.
That actually makes sense why people get more sucked into like, let's say Game of Thrones compared to like, this is totally off topic, but like Sex and the City. Because that's real life, whereas Game of Thrones, it's this whole world.
People are
that
so
you get
addicted to Sex in the City, dude.
Really? I've
Oh,
never seen
yeah.
it. What actually is it? Just like Sex in the City?
It's, well, okay, so the appeal to Sex in the City is that it's 4 best friends that all live in New York City. She's a writer. She's living her best life. It's relatable because, you know, a lot of it's a train wreck, but then she also introduces, like, storylines from her best friends. One of them's a lawyer, one of them's a stay-at-home mom or something. I only remember seeing bits where she's got kids. And then one of them's, like, a sex addict with, and she's a publicist, I think, Samantha. Anyway, I'm not super into it. I've watched a little bit.
Yeah.
But the appeal is then, oh, I've never lived in New York City with this really glamorous life and I'm a fashion icon. So it's still that.
So it's like imagining yourself in their life.
It's just a different reality.
That's
that
interesting.
maybe doesn't resonate with us specifically.
We are so grateful for all your support. Please come and join us on our podcast on Substack for the full thing. Thank you.